Hello everyone, looking forward to sharing this one with you. It's one of my favourites and it's from an old cookery book of mine, very old cookery book, and it's a Delia Smith. Lots of you may have even had this book or still got this book. It very much became my Bible in my early 20s, and I went on to follow her for years and years, and she still turns out amazing recipes. This is Spanish pork we're doing today. Okay, it's what I feel a really spring, early summer. It takes you kind of, when you're eating it, it takes you kind of off to Spain or sat on the beaches in Mallorca, one of the beach bars, eating a delicious pork stew. That's basically what it is. Right, let's close that up and let's get started. We are going to be cooking in the Ninja because I'm doing it pressure cooker. I used to do it in the big oven in a cast iron casserole dish, which would take 2 hours or 2.5 hours sometimes. But in the pressure cooker, we're going to give it 20 minutes and then we'll finish with a saute to reduce the sauce. So quick. And for you guys who've got slow cookers, this is a great one for slow cooker. Shove it on about 5 hours in your slow cooker. Perfection. Okay, so we're starting. Today's meat is pork. Pork is a good buy at the moment. Lamb is incredibly expensive, as much as I love it. It's very expensive. Beef's quite expensive in the cuts. So pork is and this is a shoulder of pork. 900 grams, which is equivalent to 2 pounds of shoulder. I've trimmed it and diced it up. I like to buy it in the roll and dice it myself because it gets rid of too much excess fat. So that's the meat we're using today. And a quick run through on the other ingredients, guys. Whole large white onion, chopped, not too fine. Green pepper, just diced up, not too smaller chunks. 2 cloves of garlic. I'm putting a sprinkle of oregano in this. I like things a little bit more flavoursome, herby. 2 ounces of stuffed green olives. So if you can't get them stuffed, you don't need them stuffed, but it does give a nice little peppery. This dish is all about the peppers and the olives. If you're thinking you hate olives, just try them in this dish, because I never loved olives till I started eating them in this dish, and now I absolutely love olives. And we've got 250 mils of red wine in there, and 1 can of chopped tomatoes. And the other thing that we're going to be using is 2 good tablespoonfuls of olive oil, which goes into the pan, because as I told you, I'm going to sear this off. And the only extra thing, I will be adding some, as we start to cook, fresh basil. You can, Delia's original recipe was dried basil, but that was mainly because years and years ago you couldn't get fresh herbs as easily as you can today. So I'm replacing the dried basil with beautifully smelling fresh basil. I've retained some back there because just before I serve, it's lovely to put a nice sprinkle of fresh basil on it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to bring it to heat to saute, and I'm going to sear off all the meat. That is going to take me, because there's quite a bit of chopped pork in there, it's going to take me about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, guys, so I'll take you will just do a couple of clips of it searing away, and then I'll take you through the rest of a very easy, very lovely recipe. Okay, see you in a minute. Bottom there. This is the last batch to saute off. Tiny little splodge more. And we're going to also add the garlic into that. I've just turned the saute down to number 4 because it's really getting quite hot in there. Okay, and get all those bits up off the base. I'll give them a minute or 2. I'll just add a little sprinkle of oregano. teaspoon, that would be. That's good. Okay. That's doing exactly what I want it to. Just picking up all the bits off the bottom. And the rest of the pork goes back in now. All the juice is in with it. Our can of chopped tomatoes. Okay. Stir it all through, because you don't, once the pressure cooker goes on, you don't get to mix it, so it's good to stir it through. It's doing fine. And the peppers, and there you go. It's already looking good. And the wine. Okay, now we need some seasoning in there. And then in with the olives. Just remember not to add an awful lot of seasoning at this point, because your olives have been stood in a brine in a jar, which is salty water solution. So I am going to season it, but I'm going to go careful so that I can season it at the end as well. 3-4 good twists. Same for the black pepper. And now I'm just going to shred a couple of leaves. Quite a few leaves in there because I do love fresh basil. And then we'll put it onto pressure cooker. As I say, I'm going to be reducing this when the pressure cooker stops, which I'll take you through. Oh, that smells amazing. Right, okay. Okay, we turn it off and we'll put it onto pressure cooker. Onto pressure. Okay, I need longer than that. I'm going to give it 20. I want to make sure that pork falls apart. Okay, I'll go for a quick release, because although I want the pork very tender, I don't want it to go on cooking while we wait for a natural release. It was here and I've taken it back to there, which is the correct place. And okay, I'm pressing stop and we're away, and this is exactly what I would expect it to do at this moment. Now it's good, wash round, clear up. While that does its thing, then when it's cooked, when it goes off, all I've got to do is again put it back onto a saute and take it to reduce it down. Because I haven't actually done it in the pressure cooker before, I may have to make a little roux to add to it to thicken it. I may not. Let's see what we get when it comes out. See you shortly. Okay, so the pressure release has gone off. It's telling me to open. So before I can do anything, slide your lid over right to the other side, so that otherwise you just can't open it anyway. Now just gently, because still a bit of steam comes out there. Let's settle. Let me have a stir up, let me see. I've just got to test that pork's done enough. I think it is, but I do like to test a piece, just to make sure I've got the tenderness I want from it all. Oh yeah, that was breaking up lovely. Yep, that's just lovely. Okay, now we've got to reduce this. This is just too much liquid in here. If I wanted to do a quick reduction, I could take a ladle of that liquid out and make a little flour and water roux, and then combine the hot liquid with the roux and then tip it into here and it would thicken. But I think, looking at it, I think all I've really got to do is turn it on to saute and let it saute away for probably about 15-20 minutes, and that should be it. Once that's bubbling, I might lower it down from a 5 to a 4 because it's quite, it does get going quite quickly and gives you quite a good saute. So once I see that happening, I'll turn it down and let it sit there. We'll keep giving it a stir, keep an eye on it. I don't want anything happening to it now. It smells very good. And it's at that point I'll then test the seasoning before it's actually ready, when I can say it's ready for serving. Right, I'm going to give that 15 minutes with the odd stir and then see what we've got. Okay? If you look, guys, around there, you can see how much this is reduced. And now, if you can see how it's coming together, it's got that lovely thick sauce that I wanted for it. So that's basically it. I'm going to turn it off. And John and I are going to have this for dinner tonight with some rice and possibly some broccoli. Can have it with a green salad and rice. And what I'll do is I will show you when we actually sit down to eat. I've still got a million jobs to do. So that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to turn it off. I'm very pleased with the way it's turned out. What I would say is, if you do this and you find yourself you've got a lot of fluid and you think that's not going to, you've got to watch it, because if you let it reduce too much, it could stick to the bottom. That's one thing. But as I've said to you, if you ever get in a situation where you've got too much fluid, 2-3 teaspoonfuls of plain flour in a tiny little bit of cold water, mix it to a paste, and then take 2 or 3 ladles of your stock liquid, put it with that flour, mix it together, then put it into your meat and stir it round. Haven't needed to do that today, but sometimes in stews and things, because I do find cooking in a pressure cooker, if you add your flour early, you could get a burn. So that's why I didn't add any flour. I didn't need it today. But sometimes if I'm doing other dishes, say chicken dishes with a thinner stock, I might add a bit of flour, but I'll wait until it's actually finished pressure cooking. So just a tip of advice. The other thing for people who don't like olives, if you taste it and think, oh, I can pick up on the bitter olives, don't panic. In Spain and in Greece, I just add a spoonful of honey to it. Softens the flavours. So I personally absolutely find that a fabulous taste. So it's something a little bit different. Give it a go, and I'll see you a bit later when I serve it and you can see what it actually looks like. Bye for now. Hi guys, well I've just served up our supper tonight. Just show you the finished product. There's no broccoli on because we'd used it yesterday and I forgot. So, but that doesn't matter. I've just scattered some torn up fresh basil leaves on the top. Let me show you a nice chunk of meat. Right, you've got lovely big chunks like that just literally fall apart. That's how beautiful it is. And the smell is gorgeous. And just before you go, this I've packed up, I froze some, and this one is ready for my husband's lunch. It's going in the freezer during the week when he's in the office. It's an instant meal instead of having to buy meals. It just takes us to work, shoves it in the microwave for 4 minutes, job done. So it's a good way of saving a little bit of money. Anyway, give it a try. It's a really delicious dish. You can, for people who hate olives, you can just put more green pepper in, but it kind of doesn't make it the Spanish pork. It's set around the olives, okay? So give it a try, folks. See you all soon.